fly. I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
All right, everyone, this is Tim Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. It's time to fly. It's the Combine. Oh, we got some players we want to look at. We want to talk about maybe 5 or 6 players that the Giants should keep an eye on in this year's at this year's Combine. Some guys that they should just keep on their radar. Some guys that there would be an interesting, I'm not going to say a fit for the team, but, there are prospects out there that you may not want to draft right away. And the Combine always helps you decide about the attributes of a player, because like I said, a lot of times you can't judge them off their college film because they're not going against the type of competition that they're going to be going against in the NFL. So you look at their technique, you look at their attributes, you look at their stature, you look at their physical size, you look at their physical specimen, if they're athletic. And I think that's what the Giants are. There's a couple of guys. We're going to do a short video today because we got a stream today at 4, and we're going to talk about the Combine. We're going to talk about the draft at 4 o'clock. But there are 4 guys on my mind right now that the Giants probably should be keeping a very close eye on the Combine. First guy I'm thinking about is Ike Ekwonu, the big, powerful tackle prospect out of North Carolina State. Do I think he's going to fall down the Giants? Potentially. Do I think he's a fit for the Giants scheme? He might be. He is a guy that could probably play tackle. He could play guard. And the reason I want to look at Ike is because of the fact that Neal is not going to participate in any of the drills here at the Combine. Now, Neal, of course, is probably projected by some to be one of the top players in the draft. Some have him, Evan Neal, some have him going number 1 overall at 6'7", 350 pounds over to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but he's not going to be participating. So this is the chance for Ike to shine. Mr. Ekwonu could really help his draft stock and move up to the board in some teams' eyes. And if the Giants are going to go offensive line, I think Ike, if Evan, I don't think Evan Neal's going to be there, but if Ike is there and the Giants are dead set for going to offensive line, he could be the guy. He could be the pick for them, because I don't really see, in my mind, I'm not really seeing unless someone jumps up and really moves up the board, I'm not really seeing another offensive lineman that I would want to take besides Neal and Ike. At that 5 position is really not. I'm not taking Linderbaum. Linderbaum is, like I said, Linderbaum is athletic, great awareness, great intangibles, but to me, he's also a guy that's a little bit undersized. He could do a Creed Humphreys and, kind of do what he did back in 2020 as rookie in 2021, but that's rare and in few occasions. I mean, I'm just not feeling any other linemen outside of the top 2 in that 5 position. And if one more person brings up Cross, I'm gonna throw up, because you're not taking Cross at 5. There's no way in hell you're taking Cross that high. So, like I said, with Neal out, all eyes are going to be on Ike. It could get sticky in Ike for Ike. He could help him. He could help his draft stocking and help himself move forward as quickly as possible. Another guy I think the Giants need to keep an eye on. People are going to be like, "Oh, I didn't see this one coming." Is going to be Malik Willis. It's going to be Mr. Willis. They're already talking about him again going to Denver. They're already ready, but you always know what we're ready to do.
All aboard the Malik Willis Express.
This is going to be, these next couple weeks for Malik are going to be big weeks because of the fact that this is his chance to shine. And like I said, you are going to watch some of his film at Liberty, and you're either going to be impressed or you're going to not be impressed. But the people that aren't usually impressed are the people that don't know football and don't know how to scout, because of the fact that you could see that he was a talent above the other players that were on that field. And the thing with right now Malik is he is potentially being slated as the first quarterback off the board right now. And that could change depending on pro days. It could change depending on the combines. But the Giants really need to keep an eye on Willis at 5. If the draft order goes as projected, the same 4 guys are pretty much projected in the top 4 spots. So you could have the inevitable option of picking Malik Willis at 5. But that's what I'm saying. If he shines during this combine, if he shines, there is potential that he could go, or someone could want to trade up into that 5th position and grab Willis, or the Giants could say, turn around and select Willis on their own. If you want a guy that's effective extending the plays and creative and can get out of pressure, and he has that ability. He has the burst that he can pull away from tackles. Yeah, he's going to be a work in progress, but you know what? There could be flashes of beyond greatness. And that's the thing. If he shows consistency, athleticism, and everything we think he can do, he could jet up this board, and you could do two things. You could take your quarterback in the future with Malik Willis at 5, or you could potentially trade out for a king's ransom to someone that wants Malik. Now, I'd be upset if they did that, but I'm not gonna cry, but I would be upset. The other player I want to look at is going to be, I would think the Giants would want to look at is going to be Kenny Pickett. They say he has the ideal size, athleticism, accuracy. And they say, he's got that quick release. He can throw from a variety of arm angles. Problem is he doesn't have elite velocity on his passes. Now he makes up for that because of the fact that he creates throwing windows and he anticipates the receiver's moves, and he has quick eyes to go through his reads. But he just doesn't have that big arm. I wouldn't say he has that big arm. Now there's a lot of talks about his hand size, and he's throwing with a glove. I mean, I'm curious to see. He's fallen down quite exponentially. Kenny Pickett has in the last couple weeks, and he didn't help himself at all in the Senior Bowl. But the Giants, if they're not going to take a quarterback in the first 2 picks, have to address the quarterback position somewhere in this draft. Have to come up with some type of. They got to come up with some type of plan. Let's say if Daniel Jones isn't the answer or gets injured again, and they don't go with a veteran backup. So this would be a great opportunity for the Giants to see how he fits or what his athleticism is, and just see truly what type of player that he could be, and kind of go from there. Because I think that's going to be a big factor in everything that the Giants are going to do. The other player that I was thinking of that, of course, the Giants should keep an eye on, because like I said, to me, the top 5 are really interchangeable. And that's going to be Kayvon Thibodeau. He's 6'5", 258 pounds. He's explosive. He's got the lengths. We did the video on him. We did everything on him. People know what he is. Now he's fallen a little bit as well because of the fact that they say that he's a little bit of a sour guy. That he's not, and we don't know that he's a little bit of he's a little truculent at times. Not only with with the staff and the teammates, that he has an attitude problem, and all. I always love it because all these things always come out just before the draft. You never hear about these problems that this kid had before the draft, but now all of a sudden he's got these problems. And like I said, it's going to be interesting to see where he falls, and it's going to be interesting to see his athleticism because you've seen what he can do on the field. You can see what he's done against lesser competition. You could see how, in some ways, the Ducks, Oregon's, I always call it by their nicknames, the Oregon team kind of way they moved him up and down the line of scrimmage to create mismatches. And like I said, when you got a guy who's got this much of a tremendous burst off the snap, and he uses those quick stab moves, he's a guy that if you're, like I said, I'm always down for Malik Willis. But I'm telling you right now, if I took Thibodeau and I took Lloyd, if I took Thibodeau and Lloyd 5 and 7, I think you just fixed your defense. And then you can spend the rest of the draft and free agency going for offense and depth. That's just my opinion. But those are the players that I would keep an eye out right now if I was the Giants at the Combine. Having the big stream today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Dahmer. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about the Combine. We're going to talk about free agency. We're going to talk about players moving up and down the draft. This draft chart, because the draft's going to be here before you know it. Free agency is going to be here before you know it. So it's going to be an interesting perspective. Legal tampering is on March 14th. The start of the season is March 16th. You got the draft coming up And geez, in a couple months, from this time frame as well. So it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna have a lot of great content coming up. We're gonna do a lot of great draft videos. We're gonna have our big draft party like we did last year with me and the Dahmer, covering up to the good news. The Giants only have the 5th and 7th pick, so we're not gonna be on that long. But again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could maybe subscribe, ring that play through the means of your zone.